We've got Vangeli. Hello, welcome. All right, so I'm here with Amy Novakuski, and we are coming off of a tweet chat that was all about organizing your marketing. And the idea was, now I normally like to say, do less marketing, make more money. Today, we're talking about doing more marketing
in less time.
So that don't be confused about it. Vangeli, I said your name right because I'm Serbian. Amy's Polish. Are you like, you're Greek or something? So you like my brother there. Mm-mm. Shout out to you, my Greek friends. Oh, I have a Greek. This is the one thing I know in Greek. I only know one phrase in Greek. My roommate in college, one of my best friends ever, she was Greek, and I was only able to, no, it is not a cuss word. Ready? I'm going to say it. Hieropoli pusaz norizu. There you go. Nice to meet you. No, I can't say oh shit in Greek. Sorry. But you know what's really funny is I work with some folks from Serbia, and what we realized is that even though we all speak Serbian to each other, or Croatian or Bosnian or whatever, it's like all Serbo-Croatian. I don't know which people would get over it. And one of the things that we'll do is when we have to talk about work stuff, we have to speak in English. English is the language of digital marketing.
That's interesting.
Fascinating, right? Okay, so anyway, we were talking about organizing.
Yeah. We were talking about on the tweet chat about how do you get structured around creating more marketing in less time.
Correct. And so you had three things. There was a post. Let me pull that link in there so that folks have some context for what we're talking about. Boom. That's the link that we'll be talking about. Amy wrote a guest post. So I want to say, oh my God, this is so good that we're doing practice. We're practicing. Ginger Snapworks.
Hi.
Our premier sponsor for the very first Bizapalooza chat. And so part of her sponsorship was this ability to put a guest post on DIY marketers. And this is what she decided to write about. Oh, there's Robert. Yes, exactly. Organizing is key, but even the best of us are not really organized. So Amy, you can hear about structure.
Yeah, here's the problem. When, most small business owners, let's get really real, right? Most small business owners go into business because they have a passion for the work that they do. Very rarely do they also have a passion for marketing, right? Marketing is like this task that small business owners are supposed to do without always a lot of training in it. So when you dive in, you kind of flail around until you figure out what really works for you and your business. And in that flailing around process, a lot of structure gets just overstepped. And if you could,
marketing people flail around because we own issues.
True. But the difference with marketing people, in my opinion, people who do marketing for a living, right, is that now sometimes this is true and sometimes it's not true. But I'll say for me, like I tend to give up step over structure because I'm so good at my job. I can pull a lot of it off by the seat of my pants, right?
You are kidding. You're kidding, right?
No, I'm serious. I step over
the rest of themselves, and then you have no structure, and you don't have goals, and you're not on track.
Well, because it all exists in my head, right? I know, particularly when I'm creating marketing for a client, I know the direction that I want to go in with my client, right? And all that computation happens up here, and what comes out is the product. That's great when I'm working by myself. If I'm trying to include team members and sometimes even the client in it, that translation from what I'm envisioning in my head to how it actually gets produced is sometimes there's a disconnect, right? So marketing people will overstep structure because they're really good at what they do.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I'm disagreeing with you here, but as someone who also does, as a marketing person, either for myself or for other people, I tend to do structure much better for clients than I do for myself.
Oh, sure.
right?
Sure.
But
most definitely.
The problem is exactly what you said. I really am an advocate for all of us, because I'm sure a lot of folks here, if they're not small business owners, they're marketing folks.
Right. Right. So I think if you take the time to get organized around your marketing will come off more. Is that how you say it? More effortlessly? More. Does that make sense?
More effortlessly. Well, I can tell you, I have been practicing, and it's done great. Can I just say, I've had great results, and this is part of the problem. I have had great results by winging it, and I know lots of people who have had great results by winging it, but that will only take you so far.
Like, you cannot scale winging it.
You can't scale it. So you've got to have structure. Now, if you have everything in your head, how do you get it? How do you even take the first step into creating structure?
So for me, the first step is, in that article I wrote for you, there were 3 tools I talked about, right? Creating a marketing asset inventory, creating checklists for yourself, and a marketing calendar. I would say the easiest place to dive in is creating checklists. So anytime you go to do a new task, particularly if it's one you repeat a lot, take the 5 minutes that it's going to take, because it really and honestly only takes about 5 minutes, and write down these steps that you're doing so that you can repeat them in exactly the same way. It's like creating a recipe, right? Like if you're going to make brownies, you need cocoa powder, eggs, butter, sugar, right? So
I'm going to interrupt you for a second, because I think I don't want folks to miss out, because we are in this process right now, right? This is our very, very first Bizapalooza chat. And what we're doing is we're practicing, right? We are running the process, because there's the process that's in your head, and then there's the process as it actually happens in real life.
Right. So as Eva and I are putting this together, we're creating the content that we want to deliver, and we have a running commentary that says, for next time you need to do X, Y, and Z, right? Or if you're working with someone who's not me and doesn't understand what's going on here, or doesn't know how to do a tweet chat, or doesn't know anything about Blab, you need to provide this information, right? Okay. So I think that's the first step in creating a structure for yourself, is taking that 5 minutes to write down on a piece of paper the repeatable steps that you do time and time again. Perfect example, you're sitting down to write a blog post, right? What's the first thing you do before you put your fingers on the keys, right? Come up with a subject, or you come up with your outline, whatever your process is. As you're going through it, record the exact steps that you take so that you can create a checklist, or some people call it SOP, a standard operating procedure. Right?
People will call that.
Right. So it's your recipe card on how any given task is done, because you know how it goes. When you're doing something over and over and over, you might soon forget a step.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying. It's the thing that's in your head. You don't want that. In fact, you know what this reminds me of? Remember that whole productivity exercise of every so many minutes you're supposed to write down what you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So every so many minutes. So just like you said, you're going to sit down and do what, I'm going to write a blog post. I'm going to schedule a tweet chat. I've actually done it a variety of different ways. I'm going to share. I'm going to really reveal myself. Right. Let's see. I'm going to show. I have to show you guys what this thing started looking like. Oh. You can see that?
Yeah.
Started there, right? There are some options and brainstorming. And then I actually also moved over to a MindMeister. I can do it with a list. That's upside down, by the way. It's pretty funny. Okay. I can do it with an actual linear list, or I also do it as a mind map to help me see connections, or help me sort of see where are things the same, or what are things that I'm doing. So reorganizing things just a little bit.
Yeah, I often start off with a mind map. If you guys don't know what a mind map is, let me see if I can, I'm going to step away from the computer, but I can still hear, to see if I can find a notebook that I have with a good mind map in it.
Oh, you make some pretty mind maps?
They're not necessarily pretty, but I'll just show you what, like, my process, right? And I use this for pretty much anything in my life where I have multiple inputs and need to kind of like make them all make sense. So I'm flipping through like my notebook here, right? So as I flip through that, like the power of getting something out of your head and onto paper is huge. It's absolutely huge. Okay, so this is kind of like an example, right? I took, oh, you can't even see it well. I took the different areas of my business and just kind of jotted down the different tasks and goals that I have inside those areas of business. Mind mapping is really great to like get all the info out of your head and onto a piece of paper. So that's the first step, right? It's so that
what else? You talked about marketing inventory. I think you did.
Yeah, that's
asset inventory. What was
yeah,
that?
a marketing. I call it a marketing asset inventory. When you talk about marketing, your assets, the physical goods, which are actually digital, I know it's a little weird, that you have are things like newsletters, blog posts, your little meme quotes, your logos, flyers that you've done for speaking gigs that you have, or postcards that you create for your business. It's all of the stuff in marketing that you create. Now, if you're anything like me, you create something and you just drop it in like Dropbox, right? It may not get filed correctly because you're creating stuff so rapidly, right? It may not be titled correctly. So you just create it and dump it. Like if you were to look right now at my download file on my computer, it's shameful, right? I've got stuff thrown in there for every different client. Nothing's in a folder, right? It's all over the place. But on a regular basis, usually a couple times a month, not a couple times a month, a couple times a quarter, let's be real here, right? I take everything out of my download file and drop it into the appropriate Dropbox folders. And add it to what I call an asset inventory, which is a running Excel spreadsheet that lists what kind of resource I'm talking about, where that resource is located, what that resource is, and how I've used it in the past.
Oh, for crying out loud, Amy. Seriously? Yeah. Are you that retentive?
Because here's the hidden glory behind a marketing asset inventory. You can, I also like to include, are only in one ear?
He's listening. You cheetah.
Sorry. So here's the hidden gem in creating an asset inventory. I like to include keywords too, and they're kind of brief keywords, right? Like it might be, like it might be something like Facebook tips. Whatever you would keyword something, I tend to include them in this asset inventory so that you can do the following. You can review that and say, oh, look, I've got 5 really great articles on secret hidden tips for Facebook. Why don't I package those together and offer it as a download? It's only when you can see your entire marketing universe that you see hidden opportunities like that. Right? Like maybe this came up like recently. I have a speaking gig that I have to do and I can't find my speaker sheet. Why? Because I didn't put it in my asset inventory. I just created a new one, right?
Oh, can you go? Oh, wait. I wish we could share. Yeah. Can you, when you said you didn't put it in your asset, go through what the categories are that you have set up. It's in the post, guys. So you'd have to go over to the link, but she's going to tell us. She's got folders.
I do. Let me pull it up. Hold on. And here's another thing is I don't go crazy with subfolders, right? I tend to like make it really as flat as possible. I don't want tons and tons and tons of branching off because you don't want to click through 1,000 different folders, right? So my folder is called Marketing Assets. And I'm just going to read off the different categories that I have for you. Bios and descriptions. And inside bios and descriptions, there's like my short bio, my long bio, my Twitter bio, right? And descriptions about my company. And I come up with new descriptions about my company all the time, right? Blog posts. I keep a draft of all my blog posts because I don't like writing in WordPress. So I write in a Word document and then copy to WordPress, right? Ebooks that I've created, flyers and ads, live events. When you do a live event, there's tons of marketing that you create around it, right? I have my logo file. I have a newsletter file. Programs, like if I'm running a marketing program, all my collateral for the marketing of it, not for the delivery of it, just the marketing of it will be there. Sales presentations, sponsorship information, webinars and workshops. Then, like as I said, if you go into those, I don't go too crazy with creating lots and lots of other folders, because I don't want to click through 100 different folders to get to the one document that I need.
Right.
And it's when you get really organized like that around the marketing you've already created, you start to see some opportunities. You can start to see some problems too, right? Like you might say, gosh, my logo is looking a little old. We might need to do a refresh, right? Or it was when I was compiling all of my logos for a client that I saw that she didn't have a logo that had a clear background.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't put that logo onto other things. So we went out and created that. Right. So if you can get all your marketing files all in one place, you really do see lots of opportunities where you can create, because this is about more marketing in less time. You might already have the perfect marketing piece that just needs 2 or 3 tweaks to make it work for you.
I love this. So yeah, exactly. So this idea, now I have to, seriously, Amy, how long is this going to take? I guess you're going to have to take like a weekend or something to just really.
To be honest, it takes a while.
Right.
Because you got to go through so many, because you were bad at naming your files and organizing them in the first place. And trust me, like I feel it. I'm right there with you, right? So this is a great task to hand off to a virtual assistant, if you have one, right? To say, like, here's my Dropbox. Can you take the first swipe at making sense of some of these files? So if you have an assistant, a virtual assistant, you want to hire someone, you've got a kid that you want to pay $25 to do it, that is great. And it's probably the most painful part of the process, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, the part I can do is definitely create those files. We can definitely create the files. But then there's got to be a system of going through each and everything and categorizing it.
It does take a while, and it's a kind of a drag, but once you get it done and once you start to train yourself to maintain it, like it makes a huge difference in your business. Huge.
I want to say something about this flat structure that you have going on. I mean, people are either in Dropbox, I don't think we have the same, so you're on a PC, I'm on a Mac, but either way, I think the searching structures that we have now, in the past, I don't think the searches were that good. So you had to know where stuff was. And so you had to get smaller and smaller.
But the same thing is true with like Dropbox. Dropbox still doesn't do really great search. Google Documents does. That's why I love Google Documents. I'm one of those weird people, Ivana, I don't know if you've realized this yet, that my memory works in very strange ways, right? So I might be able to remember like key phrases out of a document that I wrote.
Yes, exactly.
So if I can just remember that key phrase, I put it in and I'll find the document, right? That's why like my Dropbox is well organized and my Google Docs aren't, because it has such well-defined search.
Yeah, I agree. And I've got all of them going on. I've done Dropbox. I've got some things in Dropbox and I have it syncing with, but anyway, we digress. So we've talked about asset inventory. What was the second one? Calendar?
The second one was calendar, and we talked about the third one, which was checklists.
Checklists, right? So checklists are important. Let's talk about calendar, because a lot of people struggle with their calendar. I know for myself that I've played with doing specific calendars, and that really hasn't worked well because I'm inspired to do different things and at different times. So I struggle with that. I think what worked for me was coming up with themes sort of for each month. And that sort of frees me up. And then I might put some trigger questions or phrases about topic areas, problems,
Sure.
and things.
Those are great things to do. But before you even get to that step, you have to find a calendar system that works for you. And I haven't yet. Like, I haven't found a digital calendar that works, right? Like, Google Calendars is great for appointment settings. And when I have to be somewhere at some place, it's not great at holding conceptual information. And inside a marketing calendar, there is some conceptual information that you have to have there.
Correct.
So
Spreadsheets.
I use a spreadsheet, right? And actually, I'll put this link right into the chat. If you want a copy of my spreadsheet that I use with my clients, this one is blank, so you could fill it out all on your own. So just input your information, and it'll send you an email with a download of an Excel spreadsheet that I use. The first tab is an overview, and it really does give you a high-level view of everything in your world. It has a place for you to put your goals, your personal goals, important dates for yourself, important dates for your client and your target audience, as well as holidays. Right? And it has a brief little calendar overview that has the weekends blocked off. Oh. Right? Weekends are important in marketing. Sometimes you don't want to send a marketing email on Sunday. Right? So when you're planning it off, it is important to know when weekends are. So I think one of the problems that people come into with a marketing calendar is that because it's deadline driven, it becomes like the naughty checklist.
Yes, agreed.
Right? Because you're behind on a deadline, opening up that marketing calendar makes you feel bad.
Correct.
When you create a marketing calendar that's a little bit deeper and not as deadline driven, it frees you up a little bit. So in my marketing calendar with my clients, I have them include like their personal life. When are they going on vacation? Right? When is their birthday? What are their blackout dates for work? Everybody's got blackout dates where they don't want to work. Like, I don't work on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Absolutely not. And that's like my holiday, right? I'll work on Christmas. I'll work on Thanksgiving because I've had retail clients, right? That's completely fine with me. But New Year's and my birthday, those are my days. I do not work on those days, right? And I make my clients aware of it. If I'm traveling and I'm not able to produce work, I need to know that in my calendar, right? I need to know when my clients are traveling because here's what happens when you're sometimes if you're just looking at your marketing, you might say, oh, you know what? This is the perfect day. According to like my blog posts and my newsletters, this is the perfect day to launch X. But then you go look at your real life and realize that's your kid's 10th birthday. Do you want to launch a product where you know you're going to have technical hiccups, you know there's going to be customer service issues, you know it's going to be really exciting and really stressful on your kid's 10th birthday? Maybe not, right? Or do you want to do it, or if you're in product development and you want to launch a new product or a piece of software, and that falls on Easter break. That may not be smart. If you don't have a calendar that looks at all of that, you're going to find that you screw up with timing, right? And you're going to find hidden opportunities where you can make more money. Here's a really great example. I have a client that's going to Mexico, part business, part vacation, right? So that's not an inexpensive trip. So because we know that's on her marketing calendar, we can look at the 6 weeks or the 12 weeks before and say, what can we do to generate you more income so that you can have a better vacation? Mm-hmm. And we wouldn't know that if we didn't have a really in-depth marketing calendar.
Yeah, so I think I'm looking at this calendar of yours right now. So like you said, there's this overview tab, right, where you've got goals, financial, marketing, personal, and you can write those in there, right? And then, so this is like, do you fill that out or is this filled in? No, you just fill that out.
I have my clients fill it out.
Right. And then each month you're adding specific things that are going to happen.
Correct.
At specific times.
Correct. Generally, when I sit down with a client, one of the, like when I onboard a brand new client, this is one of the first things that we do, right? Is we look at what are their goals, what are their, what's going on in their personal life, what's going on in their financial life, what do they know exists already, right? Like, are they sponsoring any events? Do they have any product launches already scheduled? If they're a coach, if they're a business coach, when does their coaching cycle begin and end? We go through all of this information and we dig into what is going on for your ideal client. For example, this is like the perfect example. I have a couple clients whose target audience are all moms of elementary aged children, right? That's who they want to work with. That's who they build programs with. That's who they seek to cultivate as clients. So when you're working with moms with school-aged children, you have to become aware of what the school calendar is like. You absolutely don't want to try to get a mom to buy something the day she's putting her kid back into school.
Right. It's like the whole week.
Right. That whole week, it's actually like a 2-week period because there's all the back to school shopping that has to happen the week beforehand. And then like all of the madness of trying to get your household settled into a school routine. And moms are spending a lot of money on their kids during these 2 weeks. It's hard to get them to let go of money for something else. You need to know when those activities are for your target audience to make better business decisions. Another huge one is tax time. Like paying taxes is a huge thing for small business owners. So if you're working with other CEOs or other small business C-level professionals, tax time is not the time to talk to them. You don't want to talk to them when they're preparing their annual budgets, right?
Yes.
There are times that you want to block off and not make critical business movements. And you don't know that if it's not on the calendar.
Got it. No, so Robert has a question. He wants to know who your clients are.
Oh, yeah. I typically work with small business owners and entrepreneurs, ideally who are just on the cusp of going from solo entrepreneurs or small teams to expanding, right? So like your small business who's in the 3 to 5 person range and are really ready to take on bigger marketing. I work with a lot of like solo entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs who are right out of the box, right? And know that marketing is a key priority for them and really want to get a handle on their social media. That's kind of like my wheelhouse. I do a lot of digital marketing, but really creating smart social media strategies is where I excel, perhaps.
And I would say too, having worked with Amy, and she talked about some clients that were more like, coaches who are building their coaching business or who develop digital products. I mean, honestly, Amy, your wheelhouse is truly Facebook. You have Facebook down to a science. I mean, you're good on Twitter and all that stuff, but you've got Facebook nailed down. And I would say maybe even Pinterest too.
I really talk where I love working, right, is in the engagement realm. There are people who love like creating Facebook ad programs. I really want to go after that organic traffic. I want to create programs for you where your ideal audience falls in love with you, right, and you become the answer to their prayers. Right. That's really where I excel for people, is creating that experience for my clients where their audience loves them.
Awesome. So we're going to try to get Robert in here, and we've got a question that says, can I get some tips for my site? I'm not exactly sure what kind of tips you're looking for or what kind of issues you're having with your site. SEO tips. This is probably not the place for SEO tips today. Oh, I see that you're trying, Robert. Try again. Now you
might have to refresh, Robert. So basic SEO tips are, you want to make sure, like just absolute basic, right? SEO is a very changed landscape. When I started in digital marketing, like we were all about like it was the Wild West. What we call black hat marketing today, right, is how you did business, right? So, oh, maybe I misspoke. Evans IP Law. Hold on one second. So I really deal in the realm of writing your content in a way that search engines are going to like it. That's what I really focus on when I talk about SEO. There's still some structural things that you can do in the old school SEO way, but this isn't a talk about SEO. If you want to like reach out to me on Twitter, I can point you to some more SEO resources.
But, if you want to generate traffic to your site, Amy, you could talk about engagement as a way to drive traffic. I mean, we just got off of a tweet chat, and that is a great way to drive traffic.
Right.
By helping people, engaging with people, as long as, we got people coming in. Okay, I'm going to try Evans Law. See if she can get in, and let's try to get Robert in there again. Yay! Okay.
So what's your questions? Hi, guys. Introduce yourself really quick.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you. Thanks for accepting me. This is my second day on Blab. I'm really excited. I own a intellectual property law firm, and I help a lot of entrepreneurs with patents, trademarks, and copyright. So I'm an entrepreneur, too. Always looking to learn more about marketing, and your topic got me, how to do more marketing in less time. So I had a question, but I can let Robert introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Bob Leonard. Retired old man is what I am.
Oh, get out of here.
Probably going to be teaching next year. Sold a couple companies about 10 years ago. And that's me. But I got a couple of patent and trademark questions as well. But
I just got off renewing my DIY marketers.
Oh, well, then you might have to follow me here because I'm on Periscope, and Periscope pushed me to Blab, so I'm going to be doing scopes on patents, trademarks, and copyrights, and I actually worked at the PTO. I was a patent examiner and trademark attorney.
Well, I have to give props to the U.S. Patent Trademark Office. Now, I did hire an attorney to get me started, right, to set everything up and do all that. But I actually did all the renewals all by myself. And get this, I called the Patent and Trademark Office, and a human being answered multiple times.
Well, you're one of the human beings have to answer. So I can say working as a trademark attorney, we're required to answer. But you have to be careful because, remember, they work for the PTO, so everybody's not that fortunate to navigate the system as smoothly as you did. So that's good to hear.
That's good. So I want you had a question. Why don't you go ahead and ask?
Sure. So I wanted to ask you, Amy, I also have a STEM program here, Kidgineer. So we provide hands-on engineering projects to children ages 5 to 12. So occasionally when we're hosting our classes, I'll go to Facebook and post, hey, sign up for the class. And of course, it'll have a little box, boost posts. And I really don't know what I'm doing. I'll pay the $20, $25 to have it on for 5 or 6 days. But I wondered if there was a way, or if you were familiar with narrowing down. I noticed you can click on like people that are interested in education. But when you talked about your organic results, I wanted to find out more about what you meant by that, because you're right. You can send an ad out, and I don't care if a doctor's, reading it or a retired teacher. I want the parents of children that want to be in the program to read it.
Right. So when we talk about traffic, it's kind of on a spectrum, right? On one side, you have organic traffic, and on the other side, you have paid traffic. So when you're talking organic traffic, that is, in its simplest terms, it's creating content that lives on the internet that you can send people to. And you send people there through a couple different methods. One is search engine optimization, or SEO, right? Which is kind of a misnomer because there's not a lot that you're optimizing, right? There's search engine marketing, where you get really familiar with how the Google search engine works and use that to your advantage, right? And then you have social media marketing, where you create social media content that says, among other things, hey, look at this cool site and what we're up to, come visit, right? This blab right now is a piece of social media marketing that we're creating right now. Once this blab is done, it's going to be embedded in a couple different locations, and we're going to use it repeatedly to send traffic to. Then on the other side, you have paid traffic. So that is using Google ads or Facebook ads and serving up content to a particular audience. Now, as Ivana well knows, I have a very harsh opinion or I have a harsh outlook on Facebook ads. I don't think you should give Facebook money unless you have to. And Facebook makes it really, really easy for you to give them money. That boost post button on the bottom of every single post is very sexy and very easy to hit. But as you've seen, right, you put up a post that says you're having an event and you'll just throw $25 at it, right? But it's not necessarily getting you the results that you want. There's a whole world of Facebook advertising that goes into some really intense kind of work that's usually beyond most people and what they want to get knowledgeable about. But I can give you some tips to better educate yourself on how to use Facebook advertising in a more effective way. And one of the things is don't use the boost post feature. Create an ad inside Facebook's ad manager. Right? If you look over in the left-hand column on Facebook, there will be a section that says Ads Manager, right? So you click on there, you have to put in a credit card, you have to go through that whole approval process, and then you get some options for creating ads. And you have a world of options that are open to you. You can target ads based on basic demographics, so age, location, work type. You can create ads based on interests. So are the people that you're targeting interested in ballet or soccer, right? And it's really in fine-tuning those interests that where all the power in Facebook advertising lives. So you need to be a little bit smart and start thinking about who is it that your client is or who you want to target, and how do they show up on Facebook?
Okay.
Right. So Ivana and I talk about this a lot. It can be really hard to target the exact kind of person that you want, because you kind of have to do some sneaky research and figure out what people are into. Because there's no in our world, right? We're targeting small business owners who have an interest in elevating their marketing experience. That's not an option. So how do we find those people, right? So you've got to do some creative thinking. Would my target audience be the kind of person that follows Inc. magazine or Fortune, right? Would they be Wall Street Journal readers? Would they be New York Times readers? Would they be fans of Dancing with the Stars, right? Like those are the kind of interests that you start to target. So it's like a quick and easy exercise for yourself to start thinking that way is think of the perfect person that's going to come to your event or purchase from you. What apps would they have on their cell phone? That will start getting you thinking about what their interests are and how can you target them.
That's sneaky, Amy. I like that. Or, you know what's even better about that is that you could just go, oh, can you say your name again?
Andrea.
Andrea. Thank you, Andrea. Like, Andrea could just show up at an event and say, excuse me, what apps do you have on your phone? Let's compare.
Right?
How fun is that?
Right. And, you know, that's a good point that you made, because when you just hit boost posts, it doesn't give you all the flexibility that you mentioned. You can't narrow the target audience as much as you said. So I'm going to start, if I continue to use it, I'll listen to what else you have to say. But ad manager sounds better.
Yeah. How is that different?
Go ahead, Robert.
How is that different from any other traditional marketing? You know, and again, I'm an old man, so I think back 30 and 40 years ago, how where we target out specific vertical rags or local newspapers, you know, or the sports page of a newspaper. How is this different?
Remember the SRDS, Robert?
SRDS. I don't. It's in my head, but I don't.
Right? So I can't remember what it stands for, and shame on me. But back in the day, Robert.
You're not as old as me, Ivana.
I am.
Not a chance, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Actually, I ain't going to hide it. I'm going to be 52 this year. I should actually do my marketing strategy one, which is I'm going to be 60. And then the only obvious response is, damn, you look good. It's all about positioning people. Okay, no, seriously. SRDS was a directory. It was a big fat directory that you got a library.
Mm-hmm.
And the directory, and of course now it's online, and it was a directory of, I'm going to say mailing lists, but the thing that makes it really, really unique is that, and this is what makes it similar to Facebook and what we're talking about, is that it's focusing people based on actions that they took. Actual actions that they took. They're not just subscribers of Golf Magazine. They've purchased Ping golf clubs.
So we call that Amazon today.
It could be Amazon. It could be, and that's what Facebook does too. Doesn't it, Amy? It focuses your targeting in a very, very unique way. And I don't know, I didn't have time to hear Martin Lindstrom. He was on Facebook Live the other day talking about his book, Small Data. So you have big data, small data. You were talking about that, weren't you?
Yep.
These are things that we reveal about ourselves, actions that we take, things we reveal about ourselves that show up online. Okay.
Yeah, that's where this gets a little bit different, is that particularly the data that exists inside Facebook, it's not that I'm classifying myself as X, right? I'm showing through my behavior that I actually am X. That's where Facebook gets a little bit different than any sort of marketing data we've had in the past. Facebook knows that I like pugs, not because I told Facebook I like pugs, but because I follow a couple pug pages, right? I've liked posts with pugs. I have clicked on posts with pugs. I have gone to pug websites. Facebook knows I like pugs based on not what I say, my actions. That's where Facebook targeting gets a little bit different and exceptionally powerful.
And it's the same. And this is the powerful part, right? And this is why it is such a good deal. To get an SRDS list today is going to cost you megabucks. It's really expensive. It's expensive to subscribe to. It's expensive to get the list. It's expensive to process the list. It's just more than any small business owner can afford, which is what makes the Facebook advertising so attractive, right? But here's the clincher. And believe me when I tell you, I have paid the price. There is a way of creating Facebook ads. And I always tell people it's really not, it's really all about the offer and how you create that offer and structure it in a way that makes it Facebook worthy, tangible.
And
right.
You know what, Bob? What I like about it is it starts with your circle, your friends on Facebook, and then it kind of branches out to their friends and then their friends. So it's almost like a referral without a referral. So people say, oh, well, Amy's my friend, and I see that she's connected with this organization. Let me click on it. So it causes more people, I think. It's kind of that word of mouth without the word of mouth. So your friends are working for you and they don't even know it. That's what I love about it.
Yeah, and that is very true, and that's something that's very exceptionally powerful. Like when you really get into the nuts and bolts of Facebook marketing, the things you can do with it are astounding, really astounding. I mean, we can talk about how to create a dark post so you don't clutter up your Facebook feed, how to retarget visits to your website so that only people who see your website see a particular ad, right? Or people that have seen page A of your website see ad A, people who've gone to page B see page B, see ad B. There's a lot of really elegant, highly focused, targeted marketing you can do on Facebook, and you shouldn't give Facebook money unless you have a plan.
So
That's
Amy,
really,
is that what you do for a living for others then?
I do some Facebook marketing, but it's not what I love doing, right? And Facebook marketing has a place, and There's other kinds of marketing to do in social media. I really focus on creating community around your business. And it's that organic side again, and that word of mouth, that referral thing. It's like how it's the power of Kim Kardashian. You know, Kim Kardashian says she's going to go to, what was it, Olive Garden or something like that, and their sales shoot up 33%.
Right. I like to call that the Oprah effect.
Right. It's the same concept. So here's where the real true power of social media comes in. If you are Coca-Cola or General Motors, you can throw $50 million at a problem and make it work. Inside social media, you, the lowly ice cream parlor on the corner, can have marketing that is as powerful as Coca-Cola. Mm-hmm. And that's only possible because of social media. So I really work to create that brand story around small business owners and entrepreneurs that has people say, yes, that's a company I want to align with. Or yes, that company gets me, I want to work with them. So that's really what I do. Sometimes Facebook advertising is a part of that. Sometimes it's not.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Facebook is already my community. Now, I'm talking my generically. There are already people connected to me, already people following me. And we use that, well, I say we, and I say we generically also. I'm involved with a lot of businesses. There's a newspaper here, there's a printer here. I have a printer down in Texas, I have a printer in Florida, and I have a technical company out west. And, you know, we use Facebook strictly as talking to our friends, and our friends being our customers. We use Twitter much more to make to do what you talked about earlier. We do some proactive SEO utilizing Twitter, but we use Twitter as much more a marketing tool to create relevance within our for our websites. People don't come in to look around to buy things. They come in, you know, they're searching. If I search business cards, the last thing I want to see is somebody's page that talks about all the equipment they have. I want to see the price of business cards and I want to buy it.
That's true.
Now, if they're a friend of yours, they might want to come in, or a stalker, they may want to come in and see what you're doing, but buyers don't, and buyers are what pay bills. Okay,
so
I see that with Facebook.
What's an example? I'm just curious because with Twitter, I've had some success too, but it's hit or miss. And so I'm just wondering, like, what are you can't just post every post saying, click here to look at our printing shop and, you know, and then have people to click. So what are you doing to draw them in? Is it a free ebook or what's
No, nothing at all. We're looking for a buyer, not somebody to become friends with, especially in the printing business. Well, we have a newspaper also. There's a little weekly newspaper here. We do all kinds of cool things. But the thing is, what you want to do is create relevance with your Twitter. Every time you tweet, all the search engines and all the cool people out there, people being Bing, Amazon, Rackspace, obviously Google, they come and verify that tweet you send out. Mm-hmm. Okay, every single one. Okay, with that tweet creates relevance. And basically moves you up a little more on your, I'm glad nobody's here because a lot of people don't understand this, but it moves you up on your, in the search engines. So we will deep link tweets, you know, at a very low level within our printing websites, which move that product within the website up higher in the search engines. So if somebody is searching, let's say, lenticular business cards, it will come up, you know, very high because it's very specific, and it takes them right to that landing page, that page deep linked within the site, so they can buy it immediately. If they want to shop it a little bit, yeah, we put videos up there and other cool things, but we force them to, or we don't force, but we give them the opportunity to buy at that point. But three people sitting here. God, I got questions for all of you.
Awesome. That's what we're here for. You've been so patient. It is.
Well, you don't learn anything unless you listen.
Correct. So, you know, maybe you want to ask any.
Okay, now, I've had lots of trademarks before. As a matter of fact, trademark attorney can probably look me up, as well as patents. The National Arbitration Forum we set a precedence on trademarks with generic words attached to it. And if you looked up online, Out to Travel, if you looked up Out to Travel and Absolute Liquor, Absolute Vodka, you'll come up with all these cool little cases where Absolute refers back to our precedent setting and that you can't attach a generic word to a trademark. But what really frustrated me about trademarks, and I now recommend people, you don't get a trademark. What really frustrated me with trademarks is in the early 2000s through now, there were all these trademark attorneys out there that look for violations. And by looking for the violation and finding the violation and then notifying the owner of the trademark owner has no choice but to protect the trademark and file a cease and desist, and anything else that needs to occur, making the trademark attorney money, but the owner of the trademark spending money that they would have never known they had a problem with in the first place.
Yeah, well, I don't do that. What I do is when clients have those types of issues, they come to me. But where that surge comes from is there's this whole thing where people hold themselves out as trademark attorneys and they're not trademark attorneys. That's what I'm saying. To be a patent attorney, you actually have to have a science and engineering degree. You have to take a separate bar. So I'm also a patent attorney. But with trademark attorneys, you actually don't. Any lawyer can hold themselves out as a trademark attorney, and it's the sexy law because it's fun. You can represent clients all over the world. It's very rewarding. But what I find is you're right. There are a lot of attorneys that can see that someone is infringing, and guess what? They encourage the clients to send cease and desist letters. And when my clients get those, a lot of times it backfires because it's all about the first to use and not the first to
First to use is the most important thing.
First to
Absolutely.
use, guess what happens? People get these cease and desist letters, they get the mark, and they just randomly go to Google and send out a cease and desist letter to anybody that has the word blab in their name, if you own the trademark for blab, and that's backfired because some of my clients have said, you know what, hey, Bob, I didn't even know you were out here. Thanks for telling me. I've actually used the mark 20 years prior to you, and let me go ahead and cancel your mark. So it's really unfortunate because there's so many attorneys out here that are really out here for the wrong reason. Money is good, but I think money comes when you do a good job and you're fair and honest. So just
that's
like
most
anything,
of the trademark attorneys I've met. And
really? Well, now you met me.
That's truly most of the trademark attorneys I've met and known, though.
Really? Well,
as a matter of fact, about 5 years ago, when I lived in California, we were doing a system for a trademark attorney that automatically searched online for violations.
wow.
And I owned the trademark Out To, OUT, the number 2. So you cannot imagine how many opportunities there were with Out To lunch, out to eat, out to dinner, out to the movies, out to the ball game, out to the warning track, out to shop, everything. We had 250 different domain names. And we were attacked. Legal fees were ridiculous for me. I wish I had just used it, marked the day we used it, first day of use, and walked away. By the way, I want to introduce you to my daughter. She actually owns the whole world around here. We're up in Maine, by the way, so it's a real small world.
Hey!
But this is my daughter, Kelly. I'm waving her in.
I don't want to go with him.
Why not? Just say hello.
Come on in, Kelly. He's already
I'm
in.
trying to get on. I got to move back.
I can't be seen.
Yes, you can. Go ahead.
It's following me.
It's following me. I know, but just step closer. There you go. She just stuck her. She runs a newspaper here. This is a printing plant. Printing operation.
Now it's following me.
That's okay. They do wraps, which it's the coolest thing in the world, best advertising in the world. It's a wrap on a car because it's real cheap and gets seen a lot. But that's enough of my advertisement.
What are you doing?
I'm just talking about, we're talking about marketing, but this trademark attorney stepped in, and I just couldn't resist.
Is this a blab?
This is a blab, which is what
Come
we
in,
need
Kelly,
to do.
blab with us.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I keep telling her, okay, so I wanted you to see that.
And you know what, Bob? You brought up a good point about that out to.
Mhm.
You know, what people don't understand about trademarks is they feel that they can enforce that mark against anyone that's using those words, and that's not how it works, because more than one person can have the same name for something. So I can
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, so
You're absolutely right. But the thing was, our trademark, and again, sorry I'm off topic with you guys, but the trademark was out to using it generically with anything that would be associated with a newspaper. Okay, and we're an online newspaper, and we gave our examples, and we gave broad examples within the trademark. And again, you can look this up. It's an expired trademark, by the way. The company was sold, and they changed the name of the company. I don't know why. But, you know, again, just think of all the out-to options. And after the National Arbitration Forum made their ruling, we've been, and we set precedents because we were early on in the whole world of this. And again, I'm an old man. I go way back in that world. Everybody's used us as their reference case, or a lot of people, Absolute in particular, simply because everybody does Absolute baseball and Absolute with this, you know, the same type of philosophy. But first use is the most important. And you know what I wasn't smart enough to do 20 years ago is not get the trademark and just go with my first use, because then I could have allowed.
if you wouldn't have done that, what if someone else would have gotten and they would have made you stop? It's all about how you.
No, they couldn't, because first use is more important.
Yeah, first use, but still, remember it's only relative to what your application and your registration is for. So
Correct.
It's now, because I've dealt with trademarks, believe it or not, where someone has registered something for policy, and then a beauty parlor has said, "Hey, I have a trademark for the same name. Just sign something to say you'll never talk about policy or talk about beauty products with policy." So it's up to them, you know, the owner, to stop that. Otherwise, the mark gets weak and generic. So I would never say not to file trademarks.
Yeah, trademarks cost me $200,000 in 1999.
Wow.
You know, it was a very bad trademark year. Or
So
a
your
good one for
trademark
lawyers.
attorney loves you, but
He loved us. Okay?
Wow.
But the thing was, that's where I would have went first use. Okay, and used it via the domain names. We bought 200 and some odd out to domain names. Okay, and that designates use. And by that designation of use, if some company in Kansas happened to own Out to Lunch and came up with it, it doesn't matter before or after, we would have gladly allowed them to use it. Okay, for free. Please promote us all you want. As a matter of fact, we'll lease you the domain name. But because we had the ownership of the trademark, we had to, basically file cease and desist letters with everybody. What I didn't have the foresight to do is what Meg Whitman did with eBay. She put eBay out in public domain for the eBay stores. If you open an eBay store, you can call it an eBay store. Mm-hmm. It is now a public domain thing that everybody can go out and promote me. Okay, what a great thing. I would have done the exact same thing. I would have put out to anything out into public domain and said, you can use it, feel free to. We'll make you part of that domain if we own it already. And if we don't own it, we don't want to own it. And ladies, I am so sorry I've taken over.
We want to take it back. Do you have a question around organizing your marketing, social media? Because this tells me that we need to have a whole other blab.
Yeah, we should.
Yes, Ivana, we must.
Okay, so let's say you have another question for organizing marketing.
Well, no, I kind of agree with Amy. When I was a sole entrepreneur, an entrepreneur, when I was first starting 30 years ago, it was all here. I didn't need a business plan. It was all here. I didn't need organization. I knew where the folders were on the floor. I'm right along with her on that. But you're selling not organization, you're selling organization, not necessarily demonstrating organization, which is okay too. We call them shoemaker sons. So I'll sit back and watch again.
All right, so let's see. So we were talking about, cue me up, Amy. So it sounds like Bob wants to come in.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get off.
You want me to check out?
Well, okay, so Adrian's going to check out. You're ready to go, or you want to hang? We just need one slot.
I'm gone. Ladies, I'll see you later. We need to talk, okay?
We absolutely. Let's schedule something.
You got it. Bye-bye.
All right. Am I supposed to kick him out?
How do you hang up again?
Hover next to your name. There's a little X.
Oh, I hope, yeah. Well, it said kick out, and I hope he didn't take that as you're out.
Bob, hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry about that. Got a tickle right as you came online. Hello.
How are you?
Great to meet you. I'm sorry, BizPalooza, I don't know your name.
Yes, I am Ivana Taylor. I know I really struggle, but BizPalooza is like a whole team of a community. But I am the producer and the owner, and I am Ivana Taylor.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to put my name on here.
And IP Law, you are?
I'm Andrea Evans. I was trying to get off. I'll just sit here and smile at you.
No, that's right. No, I just
I can let you off.
Oh, did you? I can get off if you need me to.
No, I don't think we need you to just yet.
Okay.
So,
I only ask. I like to greet people by name. I know Amy,
Okay.
but
Andrea,
one thing, I'm a fan of newsjacking, but I'm not a fan of spamming, right? And so I have a question about doing more marketing in less time. Right behind my shoulder, you'll see hashtag Amelia's Wish. All right. So Amelia is a young 8-year-old girl in Kansas City, and Make-A-Wish Foundation granted her a wish. She has brain cancer. And rather than going to Disney or going to meet her favorite sports person, which those are great wishes. I mean, any child that gets to make a wish, no matter what that wish is, I would never demean their wish. But hers is so selfless. She just wants to make the world a better place for one day. So on Saturday, January 27th, in Kansas City, in 4 parks, people are coming out to clean up the parks and clean up litter. But she's also asked that the message be spread around the country, around the world, so people in other cities and states are doing it. And she's just asked that they take pictures and tweet that out with the hashtag Amelia's Wish, right? So now I've newsjacked your lab, but my question is, how can I do more marketing in less time and let more people know about Amelia's Wish?
Yeah. So in that instance, when is this happening?
Saturday.
I would piggyback on other hashtags. So I would go hang out on Twitter for a little while. It's going to work easier on Twitter than it will anywhere else. And start looking up other hashtags of, I'm just going to give it a name, do-gooders, right? So you want to do the Happiness Project, 100 Days of Happiness, 100 Days of Gratitude.
Look at hashtagify.
Hashtagify me.
.me.
And then go look at those people who are prominent in those conversations, and it could even be big people. Here's an example of a tweet, hey, at Oprah, did you hear about Amelia's Wish? Hashtag gratitude, and start piling on those things. I would shout out to some people like that. Deepak Chopra. Even if they don't respond back to you, Kim Kardashian, for God's sakes, people who follow them are going to see that and be like, what's this Amelia's Wish thing?
Exactly.
Right? So I would start piggybacking on hashtags and tweeting out that way. And that doesn't really fall into the more marketing, less time thing, because it's going to be a little bit time consuming.
Sure.
Because you haven't done it before, right? You don't have that established conversation pathways, right?
Actually, if you search what I put out on Amelia's Wish, I've already tweeted it a lot. I've tweeted a lot of those already, so I have done that. But I have not piggybacked on hashtags, so that's a great idea.
Yeah, so you want what I would do is go look at some of the Happiness Project people who are big on Instagram.
Right.
And just approach some of them. Say, hey, this is a Make Your Wish thing. I would really appreciate it if you tweeted this out. Or look at Instagram and who is local on Instagram that's popular. And, fire off some direct messages and say, look, this thing is going on. An Instagram post from you would be a big deal. Could you do that for Amelia?
Awesome.
Hey,
Well, thank you so much, Amy.
Real quick. With hashtags, you still have to be careful because I just did a scope on this talking about piggybacking off of hashtags. People don't realize you can trademark hashtags. So not in this case, I wouldn't say you'd be sued, for piggybacking, because of course they pick and choose, but there have been instances where people have used hashtags to promote a service or a podcast or something, and it's someone's trademark. So be careful with that. I mean, that's just my disclaimer for whoever's watching, not necessarily for you, but
I think that is fantastic.
We're going to have a further conversation about that. I would love to have you on for patent and trademark in social media, because there's a huge world. Like somebody owns the Twitter account for one of my websites, and it's the same words, right? I would love to get that Twitter account, and I'm wondering, can I do?
Oh yeah, I do that all the time. Facebook, Instagram, Periscope. That now the beauty of it is the law is finally catching up to social media, because now they have rules about intellectual property. They make it real easy for you. But in your case, Bob, I totally agree with Amy. I've had a lot of success just tweeting reporters and then, hey, even the ones that aren't like big Huffington Post, if you do a search on Twitter and find the reporters, often they don't have as many followers as the million, Huffington Post followers. But you can follow a reporter who will be more likely to look at it. I've had success actually being quoted in Inc. magazine and magazines like that just from writing the right reporter on Twitter. So it can work.
Thank you so much for the advice. And one thing I want to make clear is, I walk a fine line. I never want to be like I said, I don't like spamming, so I look for opportunities to inject it where it definitely relates. And I would have loved to have had more time to prepare for this one. My daughter is the co-project lead for Amelia's Wish. She volunteers with them, and so that's how I became so involved with it. But they didn't release the information until about 10 days before. They have a lot of privacy concerns and stuff. So, if I could, going back, if I could do anything, it would be, getting them, especially in one like this. Most of the Make-A-Wishes are not public, right? But for this one, because it was, if they could have even backed it up another 2 weeks, it could have made a huge difference in getting the penetration into the market. I've already gotten a lot of, I'm using a Bitly link to track it, and I've already, I could see it ramping up. I've already got almost 400 hits on the Bitly link, but I only had 50 hits the first few days. So I know that if I had started 2 weeks earlier, it would have made a big difference.
And here's the other thing too. You can, it just occurred to me that this goes up, and this probably is not politically correct, but it's a real trend. It just is a real trend, and I think it's kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? People are vicarious do-gooders, right? So I wonder if you could do something almost like that ice bucket challenge thing, which is you tell one person, and the idea of sharing, and that's good enough. The fact that you even shared this,
right,
is contributing,
doing
something good, right? So one thing I would request, I'm going to put my email on here. I can follow Amelia's Wish and check it out. But if there's anything you want to share with me, right?
Okay.
Easy to do.
Right.
No skin off my back. Not going to take much time, but I'm going to feel really good about myself.
Okay.
Here's one thing. I don't know, Bob, but I don't know the prep work that you've done. So if you've already done this, forgive me, right?
No, go ahead.
But increasingly, here's an easy idea. When I'm approached to promote things, I hate to admit this, I'm kind of lazy, right? So if you could create a document that has tweets already written out. Well, okay.
It's an Evernote document.
Perfect.
See if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and create some images too. Create some square images, perfect for Instagram. Create some of those rectangular images for Twitter, so that they can already have an image to share. If I already see everything's all lined up for me, and I just gotta copy and paste, it makes it easier for me to share.
All right.
So again, I'm sure you've done some of that work already. So perfect.
Okay.
Do you know? Isn't John Jantz in Kansas City?
I don't
know.
Duct tape marketing?
I don't know. I don't know where he's located.
I think he's in Kansas City. I'm a friend of his, sort of.
Okay.
I'm going to give him a ping out with this link.
All right. Thank you. And Amy, I appreciate that. And I'm going to give the seat up because I know there's other people that like to benefit from your advice. But I hope for those out there that watching it now or watching it later, that they can also get value out of this. Like I said, I created that Evernote document, and I use that as a way to share stuff with people. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks, Bob. Good
You
luck.
and me, Bob. We have to blab. More blab.
More blab. More blab.
And ladies, I'm gonna. This is my second day on here, so I'm trying to figure out how to hang up. So I may just be on the show permanently. So
Oh, you could be on the show permanently. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Haven't found the hanging up? There's an X up in the corner. Just X yourself out.
okay, and I'm gonna put my email here for you all because I would like to follow up and maybe do something together where we can
Yeah.
talk about it.
I'd love to do a big smackdown on trademark and copyright and
would
social
too.
media.
Okay,
That would
that'd
be
be great.
awesome.
Well, thanks for all this great information. You all have a nice day.
Thanks for being.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for hopping on.
Woo! Oh my gosh. We're 10 after 4. Does anyone have a question for Amy about how to organize your marketing? We're giving marketing tips. Somebody is trying to come in. We're just going to do Blabathon. No, we're not going to do that. Hello.
Hi, Oz.
Hello.
How are you?
Here.
All right. Just jumped in here. I saw the email. Yeah. Well, so I wrote an Excel book last year,
Yeah.
and I'm facing the fact that I'm not a marketer or a promoter. I'm an Excel guy, but my published,
You know Mr. Excel, Bill Jellin?
Yes, well, hold a second.
And he and oh, look at that. Is that your Excel book? That's awesome.
Right, yes. He wrote this book back in 2002 and asked me to update it for 2012. So I haven't done much promoting. I'm sitting here doing Excel stuff right now. So I've not known how to promote this book.
Exactly. So what is it, a data analysis on Excel?
Yeah, and I think of it as an Excel book for people who are not trying to master Excel. They just need to get stuff done.
Yes, that's kind. You know that I did Excel for marketing managers with Bill.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, that's great. Here is a perfect thing. I'm going to give you the perfect thing, right? Hold on, let me pull it up.
Pull it up.
Copy. So you want to, I would start doing start doing some blabs and, and creating some marketing and conversation around how you as an entrepreneur can make money with unexpected ways that you can make money with Excel. So for example, right here is a little opt-in form that I have, right? That's going to share, if you opt in, it's going to email you a marketing calendar. That marketing calendar is built in Excel. Who would that's something that I could actually package and sell to people, right? And then sell like a training workshop on how to use this particular marketing calendar inside your business. So showing business owners that they can take the documents that they use inside their own business to do whatever it is they do, right? They can actually turn that into a product to sell using an Excel spreadsheet. Is huge. Like I have another tool that's a calendar, marketing calendar planning tool, right? Where you can like input certain pieces of information and it lays it out for you in a marketing calendar format. And it's built in Excel. And I actually had an Excel consultant work on it with me so that it would look exactly the way I want. Like certain fields are frozen so that you can't ruin it. So I would go that way. Like how can you use Excel to in unexpected ways like that to make money?
Okay.
Right. So just start like here's a problem that you come across. Excel is all it's like an everyday thing. It's like bread and milk. You've got to make Excel sexy again for people.
Oh, that should be the next book, Excel Sexy Again.
Well, that's what I've been doing with my video tutorials. I even made one about a friend told me that her husband went to go get a personal massager. And I did a product comparison tool in Excel where the one she wanted was online. That means waiting for it. The one he wanted to get was at the store. They'd have that soon. So how can you compare products based on price, how long you have to wait for it, how it's powered, and it's got, variables, where you can put that in and then see, okay, which one of these products do you really want?
That's awesome. I think if you did like a series of short little tutorials around, do you remember David Letterman? Mm-hmm. Right? He used to have a thing on his show about stupid pet tricks and stupid human tricks.
Right.
Right? So make it really fun and light that people want to learn how Excel can make their lives easier or make them more money. If you can tie it into those two things, how it can make your life easier or make more money, people will buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. I just did, so where's the book selling right now? Is it on your personal website or on Amazon?
Amazon, and it's downtown Portland at Powell's Books.
And what's the price point?
$25.
Okay, cool.
And I've got 40 in my. Now, see, okay, so here's the marketing piece is that I've been doing some of this fun, interesting stuff. Right. Now, it's sitting on my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing is I've been doing that.
And it's not producing the kind of results that you want?
Well, the marketing part is missing. I've done the tutorials.
Oh. Yeah. You've got to build engagement around this thing. So, if you think of a book launch as an event, and there's elements inside the book, right? And you want to get people excited about the book. So one thing to do is to really start you can have a blab or a tweet chat around Excel issues or problems, and then you can pre-choose certain videos and you can send them out like we did for this. Amy wrote an article. We sent the article out. People read it. Now you have something to talk about on the blab, or you can solve people's problems on Excel. I mean,
so here, excuse me, here's like a perfect example. You can go to people like Ivana and say, hey, Ivana on DIY Marketers, can I put up the 5 things you didn't know about Excel blog post, right? With a link back to my book. If she's looking for guest posts, what is she going to say? Sure, that's less content I have to write. I would start going that way and showing off your authority rather than doing more tutorials, right? I would go that way. Like if you don't have a really strong follower base, I would start using other people's audiences, and a great way to do that is through guest posting.
Correct. Okay. And being a guest on tweet chats, being a guest on blabs like you are right now. There's lots and lots of folks that offer, all kinds of opportunities. But I do want to say someone who gets pitched all the time.
Who does?
I do. I get pitched all the time. Okay. I want you to think about when you're reaching out to these bloggers, and whether they're influencers or whatever, understand that whether you're asking to have a guest post on there or whatever, no matter what you're asking from them, it requires work and time, and you're not going to pay them, correct? Right? You're not going to say, hey, I'm going to give you $500 to write about me or to post about me or whatever. You're not going to do that, right? So if you are, that's awesome. But, you get pitched all the time. So really, really consider. One very, very important tip is first do your research. Identify who it is that you want to be in partnership with that you think can really help you. Number 2, go find them on all their social media channels and their blog. If you want to be listed on their blog, sign up on their list, read their blog posts, share their blog posts, leave comments so that they know who you are, because there is nothing that pisses me off more. And I'm going to rant now because I get this all day long. Someone is asking me if they could put a post on my site. I have to edit your post. I have to get images for your post. I have to set everything up. This takes time. Even if you've written it, it can take me up to an hour, right? To get it all done. Maybe not all at once, but put a little bit. You have to set up an author block. I mean, like, people, this takes time, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be engaging with them first so that they know who you are. You want to do something for them. And believe me, any little thing, sign up on their list, share their articles, comments, attend their tweet chat, like whatever it is that they are doing, be there for them. Okay? Mm-hmm. So that way, they know who you are. So then when you reach out to them, you know, like let's say you reach out to me about your Excel book, which is totally doable. I have DIY marketers. I do book reviews. I do book reviews on small business trends. You just jumped on my blab and that makes me happy. And now if you were to email me and say, hey, on your blab and we're friends with Mr. Excel and, you know, mind reviewing my book, what am I going to say? Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Now this goes back to answer a question that Bob just asked, which is it smarter for him to be doing his own marketing or like what other options? Now you could take all the time to create like a landing page that has a free offer and then you pitch them your book afterwards, right? Like there's a whole marketing funnel that you could totally create around this. It would be totally valid, totally worth the work. And that's one way. Another way that you can go is what even I was talking about. Approach other people who are already established and provide them something that they can give their audience, right? So you might want to, particularly with something as ubiquitous as Excel. Like nobody thinks about buying Excel. It's just kind of in your computer, right? It comes with a Microsoft package, right? And let's be honest, people know maybe 5% about how to use it, right? So so you have like the process of needing to educate people and educating them enough to realize, hey, I do actually need a book on this. Let me go buy that. So I would hop on and start looking for other people who are talking to business owners who would spend the $25 on the book, right? I think that for you is going to be a much better marketing strategy than trying to like build your own list, build up your own social, your own SEO energy, create a website. That's a lot of work for a product. Now, if you're going to have version 2 of the book and version 15, right? That could be great to do all of that work for. But for, as Robert is saying over here, for just a one-time $25 product, don't go through all that effort. Use already established marketing channels. For example, people like Ivana with Bizapalooza and DIY Marketer, they've already done all the work to build an audience. And if you can make it work for them, your product work for them, they'll take that on.
Okay.
You know, like if you and I wanted to do a blab and talk about how to use Excel in your social media, that would be awesome, right? And we could come up with a whole bunch of tips and tricks and then pitch your book throughout that.
Right. Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's what I would do. That's doing less marketing and more time. Like you can go the traditional route of creating an email list and a marketing funnel. That's going to take you a lot of time, money, and effort.
Right, and I'm just one person.
You need a basic,
right.
But you do need a basic. You could just do something as simple as having a very basic author landing page. You know, you could just go and do lead pages and set something simple up so that people can see who you are, right? I mean, I'm definitely advocate for, I'm going to tell you, right? I mean, if you pitch me and said, let me publish something on your blog, I'm going to want a website, your social media stuff and all that stuff. And that stands to reason because I want to send traffic to you.
Right, exactly.
Not just a book, but I want to send traffic to you. I want to help you and build your brand and so on and so forth. You know, and you should definitely be thinking, well, you've already got it a little bit, you know, thinking about your personal brand.
Oh yeah. So, okay. So here's the question is, I hear landing page. What is a landing page?
Oh, simply, okay. A landing page is a one-page website that only has 2 options. Sign up with an email address or leave. That's it. Like here is, or buy now. Yes, buy now is an option, right? So sign up. I was going to say purchase something or leave, but that makes things complicated. Like here, let me give you an example. I'll put it into the chat. This is my landing page for my Excel thing, right? There's only 2 options: put in your information or leave. That's a landing page. And people call it a whole bunch of other things, squeeze page, right? But effectively, that's what it is. Now, this page could live on my website. I could have it be GingerSnapWorks / marketing calendar, right? I could create its own website that says socialmediamarketingcalendar.com, whatever. But in effect, a landing page is a one-page website where there are only 2 options: leave or buy, or give me your information.
Right.
Got you.
Which, by the way, Amy, not like I'm some queen of design, but that button needs a little bit more contrast.
Yes, I know.
I know you know. What she's using here is lead pages, and this is really, really important. And I think I had a conversation about this, or I got into this conversation with someone, and it had to do with like, how much crap do you need on your marketing stuff? Oh, actually, I think I wrote an article about it. It was all about different kinds of landing page builders and so on. And one of the things I said is, if all you have is like something to sell, or like one very basic thing, use something like a lead pages, right? It's just very, very simple. It's going to, if you are selling a couple products and that's really all you got going on, don't complicate your life. Use lead pages. Right. It's super easy. Now, if you are doing content like I am, I don't use lead pages. I use something like, I use Optimized Press and I use Thrive Themes, because I'm in the world of content marketing. I need a blog and articles, and I need landing pages, and I need all this other kind of stuff. So those are some different tools that you can use, but don't spend and waste your time on stuff that's just going to take up a bunch of time and not going to deliver any value.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate that. And I started mentioning the book in my tutorials. I don't know why it took me so long to get to that place, but
yeah, go back into all the descriptions of on your YouTube channels. Make sure that link to Amazon is there. Yeah. There's a lot you can do after the fact. You can edit your YouTubes and add that in also. So just think that because you did it and you didn't do it right the first time, that it screwed it all up, because that's not true.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right.
But cool. As I mentioned to Bob, if you want to get together and just brainstorm some marketing stuff, we can totally do that.
Sure. Okay. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
Right. Thanks a lot.
All right. Are you going to hang out, or are you going to drop out?
I can hang out.
All right.
Awesome.
I want to welcome John. Hi, John. How did you finally get on?
I finally downloaded Chrome.
Oh.
See, I had Chrome on my PC, and it was just so slow, and I just switched over to Mac about 2 months ago, and I haven't had the need for Chrome.
I'm on a Mac, and I am on Chrome. I
am now.
And you talk so damn cute. Where are you?
Mobile, Alabama.
Mobile, Alabama. All right, so I want to say I am Ivana Taylor, and that's Amy Nowakowski.
I was wondering how to Nowakowski. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that when you were sitting there and said book reviews the other day. I started a new YouTube channel, and I've been utilizing the facts. Just being myself, raw to the point. Everybody's either they watch because of the accent, or they don't know where location I'm going to shoot the next video. I don't care as long as they watch. But I did this one on personal development, and I've got all these books. And I said, you know what? It just hit me at the last minute. So I did this one on personal development, and I showed all these books, all the ones that everybody knows, Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Minds, all this stuff. And I was honest, and I said, I have all these books, and I have not finished one front to back. Yeah. And the title of it was Too Much Personal Development. I said I did find 3 that I did manage to finish, and it's what helped me the most. One was how to, leverage my time, set priorities, and the other one was how to use systems to do more work to free up your time. And those combined, now I have time to read all the other ones. I mean, Think and Grow Rich is great. Everybody's read it, but if somebody's just starting a business, I don't think they need to read that. But anyway, the other one was Go for No by Andrea Waltz. That book, Go for No. It's about how trying to get so many no's.
Yeah.
Well, I did it and did a little review. When I put it on Twitter and I put in #Go for No, She saw it, tweeted me back about an hour later, and sent that video to all 21,000 of her followers.
Yep.
So the book reviews are good.
John, I have to tell you that I do book reviews for Small Business Trends. And I was a lot like you. Actually, Anita Campbell happens from smallbiztrends.com. Actually, well, she's not there right now. I'm in Cleveland. She's in Florida right now because that's what she does. She goes to Florida in the winter. And I would show you, we have lots of snow here today. But she and I, years and years ago, back in 2003, were meeting for lunch, or maybe after that. Anyway, we were, and I had just come in and I said, oh my God, I just spent $200 at the Borders. She's like, why did you spend $200 at the Borders? And I said, well, I bought this and I bought this, and they were all business books. And she said, hey, you want to review some of these books you're reading? And I'm like, sure. So I start writing these book reviews. No sooner does that happen, I got contacted by like Martin Lindstrom, and all these authors started like writing me, and this is how I started developing like all these relationships. And we are always looking for book reviewers, by the way.
Well, I'm telling you now, I'll say it on camera. I do not want to do this. Oh my God. As soon as I can afford somebody to transcribe my stuff, I'm going, I hate typing.
Oh, well, yeah, you can find someone to transcribe. But either way, we're always looking for book reviewers, and people always say, how do I become an influencer? How do I build my brand? How do I do this? I'm like, I'm telling you, if you do book reviews and then work those social channels and those connections, it is absolutely going to happen. You get into these awesome conversations with the authors, and they're so grateful. And it is, I mean, I highly, highly recommend book reviews. And
it kind of went exponential because, you know, I did it that morning, and then I left to go down to the pier where I was planning on shooting another video for my YouTube channel. And it was when I got to the pier, I'm walking, all of a sudden I look at my phone, and there's a tweet from her, from the author, that says, hey, I like this, someone's whatever. But I tried to share it, and you've got it as unlisted. You need to fix that ASAP. I said, oh, because I was planning on doing the keywords and the tags and all that when I got back. But my self went ahead and tweeted it after I left. So I immediately cut on the camera and started walking back to this little cafe that's on the pier that's got Wi-Fi. And I started to cut a video about why you should see stuff through, finish what you start, because you never know. Did that, and that just led into yet even another video. So, I mean, you just, but
that's awesome. John, what is it you do?
Well, I've got 2 bricks and mortar businesses that I've started. I had an oil field supply company that I started years ago, and I sold it. And I stay at home, and I help people with what I do is I take what I learned doing traditional on the ground grassroots marketing and help people bridge the gap between that and online, basically, because we know that the basics are the same of marketing, people, relationship. It's just online versus in your face. The strategies are different. That's why I'm really big into video, because you get that know, like, and trust so much quicker. So that's all I really focus on now.
Awesome. I'm so glad that you jumped in here, because this is actually the first time I've hosted a Blab. I've been on Blab lots of times. I've been a guest on lots of times, but I've never like really hosted one. And this is something that Amy has been helping me with, because I'm actually putting together a campaign for small business owners. So now I also do video. So this is the channel where I'm interviewing. So I'm giving you guys a heads up. I'm interviewing folks, and and you would be interested in this, John. It's a much bigger story. So whereas, there's all kinds of stuff on, doing specific stuff like what we're talking about here, content calendars and social media, blah, blah, blah. Bizapalooza has much bigger topic. It's more contextual. It's more like, why are we afraid of talking about our failures? And then I interview folks online using Google Hangouts, and I splice up those videos. You can see them here. I'm going to send you a link. Oh, it's a landing page.
Ooh. Are you in sales and marketing? Oh my God, a landing page.
Oh my God, it's a landing page. We were just talking about landing. But if you register here, what you'll do is you'll get a link to all these other videos, and you can see how I've mashed them up and remixed them according to like some specific topics. And I'm looking forward to ramping that up and making it more like the one that's coming out now. The video's done, but I haven't put it up yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so exciting.
Canon SMB productivity.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. Oh, and this other thing about video is I like doing it all, but I've really started to niche down, and I'm helping basically people locally that have bricks and mortar, and also people online how to get started with video. And I've got it down to like, the entrepreneur's bootstrap guide to video. I mean, all you need is an iPhone 6S, or even not even that much, and a good little bit of editing, and you can make it look good enough. And people are scared, and so it's just, hey, if you've got an iPhone, not even a laptop, if you've got a smartphone, you can get started. And I tell people, and don't take offense, but the hardest clients I have to deal with are women, because everything has to be perfect. And I'm like, you don't understand. If you get on there with your hair a little disheveled like mine, you're not quite all done up, you got your coffee, yeah. I said, the other person on the other end is going to see that, especially another woman. They're going to appreciate it, because they're going to be like, you know what? I can do that too. And they're going to connect, because that is real. And I tell people, you can be too perfect. If you have the infinite white background and you're doing all that and you're just sitting there trying to sell essential oils, you're going to scare a lot of people off, because that's a little intimidating. So
you look corporate.
Yeah, you look corporate, exactly.
This is relevant because near the end of last year, I finally admitted I hate writing a blog. And I like the writing part, but dealing with WordPress and plugins and crashes and warnings about security, oh, Lord.
So,
but then,
go ahead, finish.
Yeah, so then I've got Camtasia, and say 6 hours, right? 6 hours to do a blog post, or 6 hours to record, edit, and publish a video. It's so much easier to do the video.
For you, yeah. So this is one of the things I talk with my clients a lot about, is marketing has to be appropriate on a lot of different levels, right? It has to be appropriate for your business brand. It has to be appropriate for your audience. And you have to personally enjoy it. If you don't like writing blog posts, when I tell you you've got to produce 15 blog posts this month, you're going to hate me. You just are. Now, different people are different. Some people are really visually inclined and can whip out really great graphics for like Instagram, no problem. They can take their camera out and make art, right? Mm-hmm. There are some people who cannot take a picture without their finger in the way. Right? So there are so many different forms of marketing, and you have to get really comfortable with it. Like Twitter's a great example. Twitter is crazy powerful, and a lot of people just can't do Twitter because they can't do 140 characters. Right? I have really made my mark in Twitter because I can be witty, accomplish a business goal, be on brand, and make you love me in 140 characters or less.
That's a great line. I can make you love me in 140 characters.
Oh, I'm writing that down. Oh,
well, everybody tweet that out right now. Ginger Snapwork says.
Ginger Snapwork says. Otherwise, I'll forget it, right?
And now you know what? There's a way around that 140 words.
There is, but that's okay.
No, I want to tell you what.
There's lots of tricks.
I've had what I'm getting is I've had a Twitter account for a while. I've never really done anything with it. I really initially got it just because I feel like the reason I got it is because I had Instagram and I saw where I could hit a button and hit all three platforms at one time. That's the only reason I did it. But the other day I got to thinking, I went back and there was 3 or 4 people that were following me for whatever reason. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I went to those 3 people and I made sure that it was something that, it was somebody I follow, not a business. If they don't have a picture, I don't. And I said, okay, I wrote their names down, got my phone out, said, hey, I want to give a shout out to so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so. Thanks for following me. Just to let you know I'm following you back. I'm glad you got value out of it. I look forward to seeing you in the future or whatever. And then I upload that to the video to the Twitter news feed. Copy
Pretty powerful, right?
In it. Not a message, but in it. And they share it. And then somebody is hashtagging, oh, cool idea. Well, each time one of those people replies to it, the other people that are still copied on it get it too. So even those 2 people that are one time removed from me, they're making somewhat of a connection too by what I did. So it's win-win. And I've gotten like 100 and some Twitter followers in the last 2 weeks just by doing that. And I'm not even,
that's awesome.
I'm not even trying, but
I would definitely say so. We're gonna start wrapping up here.
Oh yeah.
So one of the things I want to do, because we have been on for an hour and 45 minutes almost.
And that's after an hour-long Twitter chat.
It's after an hour-long Twitter chat. So I want to wrap it up though by saying have every person give us you just gave an awesome tip, John. I'm going to go to Oz and say, Oz, do you have a marketing organizational tip for folks?
Give us an Excel tip.
Give us an Excel tip. Yes, even better.
Oh man, an Excel tip is start using Inquire. Inquire is a new piece of Excel, and it can investigate. It can help you find if there are any hidden sheets in a workbook. It can let you know if any worksheets are tied to any other worksheets before you delete one. That thing has saved me so much time.
Oh,
yeah.
Right in that.
That's interesting.
Says.
I tell my wife that she's an engineer and she uses Excel sheet to plan out her ovulation cycle. It's crazy.
What?
Oh yeah, Excel sheet for everything.
And that's what happened with, I had a friend of mine who's retired, and he asked me his Excel for the common man. And I started thinking, okay, he does a garden. What if he had something that said things that he's planted and he's had success with, and the different needs that different plants have, and then he can filter it and everything. Yeah, it can be for the common man.
My sister plans her vacation. She's a big Disney person, right? With Excel spreadsheets.
Wow.
Yeah, see. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that.
That's brilliant.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome. And we got a video tip from John. One last tip from you, Amy.
One last tip from me. Oh my gosh. All right. So if you want to stay inside the organization world,
you can give a tip.
So come up with a naming convention for your files that works for you. Right? And put it on a sticky note next to your computer and stick to it. So for me, my files for clients always start out with their first two initials. Then the destination where this piece of marketing is going to live. Then it might be how I'm going to use it, and then what it is. So that might look like if I'm creating something for Ivana, it'll be IT for Ivana Taylor, blog, and then the name of the product. So in that naming convention works for me, so I can sort through that naming convention easy.
Those are awesome. All right, so with that, I am going to wrap this puppy up. And so every week we are doing Bizapalooza chat on Twitter and Bizapalooza Blab, or actually Bizapalooza chat on Blab. So keep an eye out. Follow the hashtag. Hopefully follow all of us, because I have to make sure I follow all of you. I want to be in touch with everyone.
All right.
Yes, because seriously, I'm doing these videos. I'm doing these interviews. I think there's, definitely something we can all talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's say goodbye. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric. I'm so glad you're here, but we have got to go. We've been on for like an hour and 45. Time to go.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. This was so much fun. Ivana, thank you so much for having me on Bizapalooza Chat as your first Bizapalooza Chat sponsor.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yay, it was awesome. Thank you. I just want to make sure I don't want to close this and lose people. Like because I want to follow them on Twitter too.
Shut the recording off?
I could shut the recording off. That would
yeah. And then people can come in and out